Hey, it's Sarah. So come on in and sit down and join me tonight. I am so glad that you're here. So I want to ask you something before we even get started. Is there a decision sitting on your chest right now? Something you've been turning over and over and going back and forth and second guessing yourself, not sure if what you're feeling is your gut telling you the truth or your fear talking you out of something good? If something just came to mind, stay with it. Tonight is for you. So think of my voice as a little lantern in the dark, just lighting up the next few steps in front of you. So on Tuesday, we talked about fear-based decisions, about how fear disguises itself as logic and practicality, and I'm just being realistic, and how it rushes us and it contracts us, and it makes choices on our behalf before we even realize it's happened. But tonight I want to go one layer deeper, just one. Because one of the most disorienting things about fear is that it can feel exactly like intuition. And it speaks with the same quiet certainty. And it uses the first person. And it says, I just know. And so we listen to it and we follow it. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes we look back and realize we weren't following our gut at all. We were following our wounds. So how do you tell the difference? Well, here's what I've come to understand. And I've been on an intensive deep dive for many years to understand. And what I've watched unfold in the people that I work with over and over again, and in myself over and over again, and in my interactions with people over and over again, is that intuition and fear, they feel different in the body, not in the mind. The mind can argue either case. And the mind is a brilliant lawyer, and it will build you an airtight case for whatever it's already decided. But the body doesn't lie in the same way. So fear in your body, it feels contracted. It feels tight. It lives high up in the chest, in the throat, the shoulders, and it has an urgency to it, like a franticness. And it says, decide now, move now, get out now, hold on now. It is always either running towards something or away from something. It is never still. It is always in a place of action. And underneath fear, there is almost always a familiar feeling, an old feeling, one you felt before, long before this situation existed. But intuition, that feels different. Intuition is quieter. It doesn't yell. It doesn't rush you. It lives lower in the body, in the belly, the gut, the chest in a different way. And it has a steadiness to it, even when the message itself is uncomfortable. Intuition can tell you something hard. This isn't right. This needs to end. This isn't the path. And even as it delivers that difficult truth, there is a quality of settledness and softness underneath it, like something clicking into place rather than spinning out of control. I always say to people, your mind screams and your intuition whispers. And you may only notice it when it's quiet. And the simplest way I know how to tell them apart is exactly that. Fear gets louder the longer you sit with it. And intuition, it gets clearer. So I want to bring you into your body for just a moment right now. Whatever decision or situation came to mind at the beginning of this episode, just bring it back. Just let it be present. And now, without thinking, without analyzing, I know that's a tough ask, put one hand on your belly, just below your navel. Now take a slow breath in through your nose and let it travel all the way down to that hand. And then let it out slowly. Now just notice, when you hold this situation in your awareness and breathe into your belly, what do you feel? Not what do you think, not what do you fear, but what do you feel in that place? Is there tightness or urgency or a kind of clawing sensation? Or is there something quieter, something that already knows, something that maybe you are avoiding the answer to? And you don't have to act on it tonight. You don't have to have the answer. But I want you to start practicing noticing that difference. Because the more you come back to your body, the more that you learn the language that it speaks, the harder it becomes for fear to pass itself off as truth. And the masks that we wear, they start to drop because you are so in tune with yourself, with your body, with your intuition, that you now can tell truth. Your intuition has always been there. It was there when you were small, before the world taught you to override it, and before you learned that your feelings were inconvenient or too much or wrong. And it's still there. It didn't go anywhere. It might be quieter, maybe a little bit buried under years of second guessing and performing and shrinking, but it is there, and it is trustworthy, and it is desperately vying for you to notice it and to listen to it. And in other episodes this week, I've talked about the lighthouse. And that lighthouse, it doesn't follow the storm. It holds its position and it shines from the place it knows is solid ground. That is your intuition. That steady, unmovable knowing beneath the noise. So learn to find it and come back to it and trust it, even when fear is screaming louder. And actually, especially then. You are more knowing than you've been given credit for, more than you've given yourself credit for. And that's where you start tonight. So I'm going to leave the lantern next to you for just a little bit tonight so that you know you're not alone. And hopefully that light shines your way just a little bit more tonight. And I will be back in the morning for the next morning message, and then I'll be back to sit with you again Saturday night. I hope that you get some rest tonight, and when the quiet falls, just notice and try doing what I asked. Put your hand on your belly and breathe into it, and just notice what your body is telling you. So have a beautiful evening, and I will be back.